Hi, everyone, and welcome to the Dental Podcast. My name is Tom, and I'll be your host today. So today we are shining a spotlight on our fabulous events team, and I have the pleasure in introducing Simon and our first returning guest, Felicity, to the podcast today. So, hi, everyone. How are we both doing?
Good, thank you.
Excellent.
Good afternoon. Yeah, very good. Thank you very much on this Friday.
Yeah, it's a lovely day to be inside. But anyway,
looking forward to the weekend to being outside.
It's going to be lovely, isn't it? Fortunately, now that the weather's changed as well, it's going to be, we're less locked up. We got a bit more freedom. But yeah, so I just kind of wanted to take the time really to sort of have a chat and sort of let our listeners know about who you guys are, where you've come from, what you might be, what you'd like to do in the future, really. So if I can just sort of ask you guys to give yourselves a bit of a bio and introduce yourselves into who you are and what you do for Denplan.
Yeah, of course I can. So for the last 6 years, I've had the pleasure of being one of the senior event executives in the events and training team. I think some of my favourite events I've had the pleasure of attending over the last 6 years, definitely the Three Peaks, also the dampest event I've ever done. And I'm a really big fan of anything that gets us outdoors and gets us interacting with our clients. And I have the pleasure of working with a fabulous leader in Simon. So I'll hand over to him to let him introduce himself.
Big up the intro. Thank you, Flick. Yeah, I've been with Denplan now for 15 years. And I've been sort of head of events and the events manager over that time. Before then, I was working for the Two Swords Group at Warwick Castle, Thorpe Park and Chessington World Adventures, and then started with Denplan all those years ago now. I know I don't sound that old, Tom, so but it is a long time. I suppose very quickly, just following Flick, I mean, best event that we do is got to be for me the ski conference, which we do every other year. We're meant to do this year in January. I think that's probably the sort of the best event, the sort of highlight event for me. Although every event we do clearly is amazing.
Well, that's fantastic. I mean, some of the feedback that we always get is that our events team are so wonderful, and I know this is going to sound a bit like a love-in, but you know that's the genuine feedback that we only ever get from you guys, and about you guys as well. It's about how well organized the events are, and about how sort of warm and encouraging everybody is as well, which I think is a real asset to the organization. So we're saying about sort of going back over the past of these things, really, like obviously lockdowns had a fairly significant effect, shall we say, in the lightest possible term, about how events are different now. I mean, we used to do almost all of our events live, if I'm correct, and then we're now in a position where that's gone very much behind doors. So what do you guys have found like to be the biggest challenges so far?
Oh, gosh, I think
technology.
Yeah, I think it's been a big step change for us. And like you say, a lot of our events that we do are live, and that's really, as a team, what we enjoy doing, that face-to-face interaction. So having to step back and think about things a little bit differently, it's been a good challenge. It's definitely been it's been interesting. But yeah, the sort of technology has been one of the big challenges behind moving things into a virtual world, I think.
Yeah, I'd agree. I mean, it's really, really difficult when we had a sort of a calendar full of events ready, and then when we hit March and we think, oh, what, we need to pull the plug on it. And honestly speaking, I think everybody within the industry and us in our team, we thought, right, we'll move everything back to post May. And hindsight is, how naive that is, but that's what everybody was thinking. So I think, the biggest challenge is for last year definitely was keep moving the goalposts. Then we moved everything to September. Then we started to thinking about, well, there's going to be this mythical line, when we go into 2021 and everything will be back to normal. and it clearly wasn't going to be the case. So I think that's really challenging for us. And then embracing everything, doing things online, which we had loads of fun with. To be fair, we're sort of doing bingo and the meetings and things that we do, and learning the technology. But I think, it's definitely been a challenging year for us and the events industry.
Well, it's kind of interesting you sort of say about how it's, we were in a position where we've got this mythical line that everybody sort of worked towards, where we're going to go into, we're going to go back to normal. And then there were the sort of the conversations started bubbling around the new normal. And then as it became, we started to realize that life is going to be quite different going on from this. So where is it you think that events from a Denplan perspective will be going in the future? Are we going to be moving into like a hybrid sort of scenario? We're going to have partially live and partially online, or do you think that we're going to start by trying some new things?
I think to start off with, the way we're thinking at the moment is, if everything goes to plan and follows Boris's roadmap, then I think we are planning to give people a little bit of space to catch up with family and friends first of all, and then we're coming back with a great sort of list of outdoor events to start to build the relationship and get everybody back to socializing, is want of a better word. We haven't done it for 12 months, and I think we're going to tread very slowly and carefully to make sure that we get the people back, and we're still COVID safe, and we're thinking about what we do. So we've got a range of outdoor events, walking, a couple of charity events, cycling. We're still, at the moment, we're just working on putting together the hiking conference, but again, just a slightly bit different, making sure that we've still given people the space, and it's also going to be really flexible. So we don't know what other variants are going to turn up. We don't know what people's personal reactions or thoughts are to going to socializing in the future. So we're just being really mindful, but rest assured we do have a plan. It is robust, it's flexible, and we're a little bit excited about it, I think.
That's absolutely the right thing as well. I mean, you mentioned about the cautiousness in understanding that people are going to see things differently. I think that's going to be a really sort of important factor, and I don't think a lot of people consider that at the moment. Yeah, just sort of where do you feel that we're going to go when we do get back to a physical venue? Is there going to be dramatic shifts to that, or we're not going to go back to having thousands of people in one room at a time?
I think it's a
cool question, isn't it? Because I honestly don't know if we know the answer as we sit here today. I don't know what you think, Si, but I think it's about, people are going to have such different feelings towards it, and we've got a really good opportunity to be doing that hybrid and to be getting people that want to come into venue, but also giving people the opportunity that maybe want to stay in their surgery or in their home to be part of those events as well. So I think it's going to be interesting. I think it's going to be a new challenge, and I think people's feelings are going to vary massively in terms of visiting a venue.
Yeah, I think it's also an opportunity, isn't it? The biggest question that we always have is, when are you going to have an event on our doorstep? Now, I've heard that for 15 years, and we move all our events around the best we can around the UK and sort of an island and stuff. But the reality is, it's actually quite a big country, and it's never going to be on your doorstep. And I think what we definitely have learned is to embrace this technology and do these hybrid events. If you use example for our forums, we could only take 120, 150 people in a conference suite. Well, that might well go down in the future, with social distancing, people think. But now we've got this hybrid event, we'll definitely run it online as well, so people can fit it in their own time later. They'd be interactive, so they can ask questions. But then we also know that some people do want this, the social side as well. So they want to meet their friends, their colleagues, the Denplan people, have the face-to-face. So, I'm a little bit excited, for the future. And I think, hybrid events will be the way forward. and we've already got plans in place to make that happen for our guests.
Oh, fantastic. So getting away from the future slightly and sort of a bit more into the past. So how is you were saying on sort of the intros about your favorite events? Are there any safe stories that we can tell about some of your most exciting events, really? Because I mean, speaking for some of our listeners that might be new to Denplan, about what sort of things that they could expect, sort of not so much when we say about the hybrid side of things, but what sort of events do we sort of host?
I think what goes on tour stays on tour, Tom.
Absolutely.
I mean, we tried to do a real range of events to sort of for people's tastes. We mentioned what Flick was talking about when we did the National Three Peaks a few years ago. Now that was fantastic, and to spend 24 hours in wet boots in a minibus and walking up mountains all over the UK in the dark was definitely a fantastic experience. And the people that we met on that challenge and the way that everybody bonded together, I think was phenomenal. Talk about, I know it's a bit of a cliche, but you say friends for life, but we literally shared the paracetamol, the blister plasters, and also the snacks over that period of time. And I think it was really good fun. And I mean, if we give it more time, I could probably come out with so many different stories that over the years, from we spending time in the Nederhut in Austria at the ski conference, where everyone's standing on the table singing, to the charity events we do when we're supporting people at the bottom of a huge climb when they're on their bikes in the pouring rain, or it's starting to get dark, or we've just repaired their punctures and things like that. There's so many stories. I think we should probably start thinking about writing a book, if I'm honest. It could be a bestseller if I can get a ghostwriter, that is.
Hey, listen, I think we got some great writers in the team.
Definitely. Yeah, and I think we also do that mix of the clinical and the more social side as well. So, and I think that's the beauty of doing events and training within Denplan. You can come and you can get your essential core CPD for the day, but you can also then come along to another event that is perhaps more social focused, but is a really good opportunity to meet your peer group and meet people that are part of the Denplan team. So I think it's that variety that is one of our big sort of unique selling points and what makes it so special. And like Simon says, there's nothing quite like a relationship with somebody that has really seen you at your lowest ebb at the bottom of Ben Nevis at 2 a.m. in the pitch black, drenched, wondering why you ever thought this was a good idea. So yeah, that is the beauty of being part of the Denplan family, I think, and coming along on these events.
Yeah, and I agree. I think it's so important to see, especially nowadays when you sort of hear about some of the isolation that practitioners are feeling, the workloads that they have got, to be in a position where we can allow those community events to happen. I think the tangible value is equal to the intangible value, the community spirit, and us pulling everyone together, I think is so lovely and so great for us to be able to give that opportunity as well. It's really, really important. So one of the things that people will often sort of question, and I think it might be a little bit more blindsided than others, is what's the importance of events for you guys, especially, and what do you feel that the value is that we can present to our practices and patients from an events perspective?
For me, I think they're hugely important in the relationship building you can have between you and your peers. I think also that relationship you can have with your sales consultant and people within Denplan to understand the support that the business can give you. I think it's also really important. A lot of our clients are very, very busy individuals, and if we can take them away from that environment and provide them somewhere that they can do some team building activity, for example, with their team on a charity event, or if we can take them to an event where they can relax or bring their family, and just really have that encompassing Denplan family feel. That to me is what's important and what's special about what we do.
Yeah, I completely agree with Flick. I've worked in the events industry all my life, and I don't know a company that does such a range of sort of events and hospitality and things across the year. And I think it's brilliant to give our clients that opportunity to meet peers, meet us face to face, talk about challenges, and resolve them, there and then. I think it's it's really, really important. And I think it's really important that we're in this partnership together, so we support them through their they have to get CPD and each year and things like that. We try to make it as easy as possible for them. We also try to do like CPD essentials when we can. We do it in a big conference room, so they get the opportunity to do team building day as well. I know a lot of practices, they come, they make a special day, they share lifts, they go out for drinks afterwards, they share ideas on their table while they're with us at one of our events and things like that. And I think that also goes to when we do the charity events, to take a whole practice out for a day doing a charity event, a walk, a cycle, a beach clean or something is invaluable personally, because people really get to know each other, who they work with outside that work environment. And I think it makes personally, I think it makes a real strong team. I do it with my team every year. We always have a couple of team days out, including climbing Snowdon one year, and I think it's really important that we look after our teams and give them opportunities to bond.
I think as well, it's like when you go to those events, isn't it, and you hear that, I'll always remember Mark saying to me he takes his team out on training days before they do a challenge with us, for example. So it's a long journey for them. It's just not like that one day. It's the build up before, it's the actual day, and then it's the afterwards when you go to a key client forum and you've got clients coming in wearing their Three Peaks hoodie and their Paris to London hoodies, and it's all like, oh, I've been on this event, and it's that talking point and that camaraderie between everyone as well, which is again really great, and is a thing that kind of brings a smile to your face. It's not that just one, we've been on an event from 9 to 5 and that's it. It's the whole piece for me.
I mean, it's different, isn't it? Like you say about the difference of, say, being in a conference room for 6 hours with teas and coffees to, when you're busying yourselves and helping one another up a mountain is going to be a different level of team building.
Yeah.
So
sorry, I was going to say it's the relationships that our clients build with each other as well. It might be practices that are miles away, but we facilitate the opportunity for them all to come together. And I was just thinking then of we every time we do an event, we set up a WhatsApp group in advance of so everybody can get ready, have a chat, share ideas, and things like that. And as I think about it as well, we're doing the practice manager events at the moment online, and some of the ideas that are being shared on those events, that lunches and things like that, everybody's sort of taking up, and you never, there's no such thing as a new idea, is there? But you never know what's out there until you sort of start to share and talk to others. And I think those type of things are really good, and definitely worthwhile spending the time and the investment in the time doing.
Again, it sort of goes back to the sort of the intangibility of the value that can be offered as well, isn't it? It's you don't know what you've got until you're part of that community. It's not turn up, do a thing and then leave. You're actually developing relationships and lifelong experiences.
Yeah, absolutely. And it is people, like you say, so those practice managers generally only have one in practice. So to be able to talk to somebody else that is doing your job role and understands those challenges you have on a daily basis and can offer you solutions to problems you might have is a really great opportunity, I think.
So looking forward to 2021 and beyond, how we were saying about, we're in a position of hybrid sort of situation now. What specifically, and ones that aren't so much under wraps at the moment or are confidential, but what can we talk about, what we've got coming up? I think people that are listening are going to be desperate to know.
I think Den Plan Discovers is a good place to start for us. So that is something that we will be launching very, very shortly. And this is something we're looking at building on, have a well-being space for our clients. We're looking at doing virtual challenges that last for a month, but then will hopefully lead into some of these more under-wrapped face-to-face events at the end of the year. So it's really about that community feel throughout the year, opportunities to do activities as an individual with your family, and maybe learn some new things that aren't necessarily clinically based, but to give yourself a bit of a break and an opportunity to take in some different learnings. So we're quite excited to launch that.
Yeah, I agree. I think, shameless plug time is, the most up-to-date place for us is, on the events pages on our website. And, there's a lot of information on there, probably too much. But, if you have got time, that is definitely the place where you can see what's planned, what's coming up, and also sort of post-event where we host photos and what people thought of it and things like that. So, there's a lot going on. And I think we're just watching everything very closely at the moment, but the plans are there and we're ready to roll it all out. So keep your eye on those pages, keep your eye open on the post box, and when things come in, sign up.
Yeah, I think there's one on there that's not actually under wraps, which is our Flashback Forums, which should be really, really exciting. Obviously, we didn't get to do our key client forums in the way we normally would do them last year. So just picking up on that, we've got some of our, I guess, like most loved speakers from about the last 6 or 7 years who've hosted our masterclasses at our key client forums. And throughout April, May and June, they're coming back and they're doing webinar sessions about those subjects that they spoke about 4, 5, 6 years ago. They're building on them, the new information, what's kind of happening in their space that they specialize in. So they should be some really good opportunities for people to revisit those speakers that they have previously enjoyed of an evening as well. So we're looking forward to those. That has already landed in inboxes, and that is available on the website to sign up for. So shameless plug again, people definitely need to go and book that.
Well, continuing the plug, I believe we may have an episode of the podcast dedicated to the Flashback Forums coming very soon. So keep an eye on your pod feed and the social feeds and, well, everywhere basically where we can get to you. So one of the things saying about like the way that we're going moving forward, obviously there's a lot of, we've spoken about things happening in different places and being around the country. So how is that affected from sort of a sustainability and environmental effect? Is there something that we're looking at from that?
Yeah, definitely. I think as a team, we're quite passionate about sustainability anyway. I think as Simply Health Den Plan, that's being part of our community and being sustainable is obviously very important from that point of view as well. So we're actually working on our sustainability promise as an events and training team, and a lot of that is looking at the way that we recycle any waste that we have on events, ensuring we reduce waste, trying to make sure that we're paperless, so we're being really efficient and effective with what we give out when we're on those events. When it comes to food and drink, ensuring that we're using local people where best we can. And I think really for us, just making very, very conscious choices about what we use and how we put on these events to ensure that they are being as environmentally as aware as we can be for our clients as well, because I believe a lot of our clients are probably very passionate about that as well.
Yeah, I agree with Claire. I mean, we're very passionate, I think, with I would say as a team, and we're very aware about sort of our impact. And just leading on from what Flick said, everything we do now, we use plates that are made of banana leaves, and all our cups are compostable, and everything. We're never going to get completely plastic free, but we even order our t-shirts without bags on, and we put them in our own recycled paper bags or envelopes before we send them to people, and we recycle the clothing that's not used, and and our events uniforms as well, we recycle all that. We even offset all the emissions for our vehicles when we're traveling to and during events and things like that. That's all offset as well. So yeah, something very serious, and I think we're really trying. We're not there yet, but we will continue to keep doing this and keep banging the drum. I think it's important that we all do our little bit. So
I think that's fantastic. That was stuff that I wasn't aware of, and I've worked pretty close with you guys for a few years now.
We like to keep things under wraps, Tom. It's
No,
not on the
well-
website, funnily enough. Have I told you about the website?
I've not heard about it before. Hey, listen, if you ever want somebody to talk about it on social media for you, then I'm your man.
Cool.
But we've so obviously, we're talking about how wonderful everything is. But what I think, just to sort of round off where we've been, I think if each of you could share your success stories that we've gone from, really. So what are the real things that have sort of gotten your blood pumping and really achieved over the last sort of year or so? Because it's been such a difficult time for you, I can imagine, in such an accelerated change or sudden change, if you will. But what would you say have been like your major success stories over the last sort of 12 to 14 months?
Oh, that's a very, very good question, Tom. I think the first one that springs to mind is definitely our sort of the way that we embraced the environment we're in and got as much as possible online as quickly as possible. And I use our tailor-made training as a really, really good example of that. Literally, overnight we repackaged what our offering was, and the team embrace the technology, and we're doing the training where they would usually go face to face into practice to do it. They were doing on Teams and Zoom and things like that, and trying to make it as interactive and as informative as possible in a new environment. And we did pick that up and did it really, really quickly. And I think it's full credit to everybody involved there. But also as a positive, I think the fun things that we did for our customers as well. Like the pantomime that we did in December. And we worked with a company who put a pantomime on for the Denplan practices and their families and their team and things like that. And I think that was really, really good fun, and we got a huge take up for that. But I think it's things like that which you just don't expect, and the team put together and put on for our customers, I think was what I would say is really good wins, quick wins.
Yeah. And I think clinically as well, some of the more clinical focused events we did, obviously key client forums end of last year, we'd normally be traveling across the country, and instead we brought that together virtually. We did that region by region, so we could make sure that all of the offering was very specific to where our clients are, because we know things differ depending if you're England, Ireland, Scotland, Wales. And I think that was a really good opportunity for our clients to have the opportunity to sit back and see everything that Denplan and they had actually achieved and gotten through that year, and also gave them an opportunity to look forward of how we were going to move forward. So I think that was a really, really good one. And I think CPD Essentials, we've worked with Dental Update with the Working Together for Better Dentistry series, which I know we talked about on a previous podcast, Tom, which I'm sure you can find. Shameless plug. But that again was great. That's just finished, and I think best part of 30,000 people have watched those sessions. So again, it was us being able to offer our clients that essential CPD, that core learning that we know that they need, and enabling them to, I guess, tick that off the list, so that when we hopefully get back face to face towards the end of the year, they've done done their CPD, and they can come out and hike, cycle, beach clean, all these other exciting things with us. So I think they've been a real big success, and I'm really proud of, I guess, us, of how we've all pulled together and worked on those events.
Oh, that's fantastic. Well, thanks, guys. I mean, thank you for taking your time out of your obviously very busy schedules to be able to talk to us, talk to myself and the listeners today. But yeah, just wanted to thank you again for your time. And obviously, if you've got any of the content that you wanted to sort of find out about more today, you can find that on denplan.co.uk, to find out on our website and our social media channels. We're at Denplan on all of the platforms there. So yeah, hope you continue to listen, and thanks again to Flick and Simon for joining us today.
Thanks for having us.
Thanks, Tom.
Bye everyone.